In order for you to even start investing, it's a good idea to know why. And no, it's not as simple as I want to make more money. There are 5 reasons why you would want to start investing, and here we will explore all of them. People usually fall in 2 camps. They don't even know the reason someone invests, and so they don't bother doing it. Or they vaguely know they should, but because they don't have clarity on why, they're not motivated enough to start. Now, I will put you in the 3rd camp, the camp of people with crystal clear reasons that easily turn into action. As I mentioned, there are 5 main reasons to invest. The first is that you might want to grow your wealth to reach a specific amount for a specific goal. Note that I said specific. Too often I see people who invest in assets that don't pay any cash to them, like a rent or dividend. They have no plan to take advantage of the profits, and they don't know when or if they will ever sell. I will talk more about why this is a flawed way of investing later in the series, but for now, to keep it short, let's just say that to me, just watching a number going up and down on a screen for 20 years without any strategy or a plan for what to do with the money is ridiculous and dangerous. However, if you have a certain goal, for example, building a house, then this changes things. It is a totally okay strategy to pick certain types of investments that you think will grow a lot in the coming years, invest in them, and wait. Whether you invest every month from your salary or a lump sum of money once doesn't matter that much. The idea is that you have a plan and a goal. Once your investments reach the X amount of money it will cost you to build a house, you sell these investments, build the house, and you've achieved your goal. The same can be done for the education of your kids or whatever else you want. The second reason is investing for passive income. Unlike in the previous case, here the idea is to buy assets like rental properties or dividend-paying stocks that pay you month after month and hold them forever. With that cash, you can do one of 3 things. First, supplement the income from your job. Second, reinvest the cash to grow your investments and future passive income, also known as compounding snowball effect, which I will discuss in another video. And third, use the passive income to pay for the life you want to live, thus achieving financial freedom, which is usually the last stage of an investor's journey. All 3 goals are possible with the right investment tools, and this is a major motivator for a lot of investors, including myself. The end goal is to have a money-making machine that never stops and pays you for all your expenses while you are free to live the way you want to live. This reason to invest overlaps with the 3rd one, and that is investing for retirement. However, they are not the same, and so I have separated them. Some people like to follow something known as the 4% rule, where you don't invest for passive income but sell 4% of your investments every year once you reach retirement. The idea is that if you do that, your money will never run out. I'm not practicing it and I'm firmly against it, but that's a topic for another video, and I have actually discussed this at length in my FIRE or Financial Independence Retire Early videos on my YouTube channel. However, it's being practiced by a lot of retirees, so I'm including it here. Another way to fund your retirement is through the already discussed passive income that is paying for your life. Now, here a lot of people might ask, but wait, I already have my retirement covered by the state. Why bother? Well, that's a rabbit hole we can stay in for an hour, but I will give you a brief overview. First, you might not have a lot of choice. Depending on how your pension system is structured, you might be forced to invest. If you are, I'm a big believer that if your money goes to buy assets either way, you might as well learn how to pick them, spend as little as possible on the mandatory pension plan, and do the rest of the investments yourself. The majority of the investments the pension funds make are heavily regulated. They invest in very low growth assets and quite honestly are forced by the government to do so. The main reason for that is that a lot of governments are financing themselves by keeping your pension money in government debt instruments, which is something you generally want to avoid. But more on that later in the series when we talk about bonds. Second, if you have Social Security or any other type of government-backed pension, that's fine, but you have 2 major problems. The first one is lower birth rates. Almost everywhere in the world, population is getting older. That means that there are less and less working adults having to pay more and more older people in order for the government's retirement system to keep functioning. In time, this will probably mean reduction in pension payments or at the very least, big increase in the retirement age. Otherwise, the math just doesn't work. It is impossible for 1 working adult to support 2 children themselves and 3 retirees. So either retirees will have to retire later, receive less payments, or we need to pray for the robots to come save us and work instead. The second is that the currency you will be paid in, be it dollars, pounds, euros, whatever, is getting devalued every year way more than you get increases in your payments. This is a hidden tax that slowly and silently confiscates part of your money while the government keeps printing. So while your nominal pension payments or the payments expressed in absolute numbers might have increased, their relative purchasing power, or what you are able to buy with them, will have decreased. Which leads me to the fourth reason to invest: to protect yourself from inflation. Everyone knows that by simply saving money in the bank, the number of things your money can buy goes down with time. For example, for the past 10 years, the cumulative rate of inflation in the USA is 30%. This basically means that if you had $100,000 10 years ago, you have $70,000 now. I mean, in your bank account, you will still see the number 100,000, but this is just an illusion, because 100,000 from 10 years ago cannot buy the same amount of stuff. And it's pretty much the same or even worse in Europe and other countries. And this is the official statistic, which is very heavily disputed among economists. I have heard different experts calculate that for the average person, actually, that 30% loss in purchasing power occurred since COVID, so a much smaller time frame. Now, imagine that the government passed a new tax. From tomorrow, you are paying 5% per year of the total value of your savings in taxes. And that's on top of all the other taxes. You will be furious, right? But somehow, if the prices go up with 5% every year, people don't seem to care that much, because the amount they see in their bank account doesn't change, and they're not actively paying money to the government in the form of tax. However, it is basically the same. So, now that we established that you don't want that, how do we protect ourselves from inflation and the loss of our purchasing power? Through investing. You see, when you keep your money in a bank or under the mattress, it doesn't work for you. But when you purchase a piece of property or a well-run company, it generates cash flow and appreciates in value, allowing you to not only keep up, but even beat inflation. And the fifth and final reason you might want to invest is reserved only for the long-term thinkers, for people who want to leave some form of wealth to their children. As we already established, if you just save money in the bank or receive social security payments, in a couple of decades your children will have nothing. However, if you invest wisely, you'll be able to give them a major leg up in life and could even be remembered as the founder of a family fortune. And I know, it sounds weird and bombastic, but hear me out. Even if you invest part of your salary for a few decades, then live from the income without selling your investments, and then your children inherit your assets, you could still be giving them millions of dollars if you invest wisely. Just $1,000 invested in a very, very basic fund like the S&P 500 in 1920 would have grown to $2,193,000. And that's inflation adjusted, so it means real money. Imagine if your great-grandfather had done the same. How much easier and richer would your life have been? Well, you can give that to your grandchildren. I don't know about you, but that's extremely motivating to me. Alright, now that you know the 5 major reasons for investing in the first place, what can you even invest in? Next, we will see what types of assets and investments exist and how you can take advantage of them. So click on the video that should have appeared on your screen right now, and I'll see you there.